Well, this is the Walter Bacon podcast where I highlight some of the most practical and game-changing B2B AI startups. Today, I'm with my friend Bernhard Rannegger, CEO and founder of ScyAI. ScyAI provides AI-powered risk intelligence that closes the gap between what you model and what your insurance policy pays. Before founding ScyAI, he was the head of sustainability solutions for Swiss Re, the world's largest reinsurance provider. So Bernhard, it's great to have you today.
Thanks for having me, Walter.
Well, let's get right into the problem that you're solving.
Yeah, exactly. So at ScyAI, as you already outlined a bit, like we help like asset-heavy companies to quantify their risk profile and then sell it into the market. So it's literally AI for risk and insurance management that enables these corporates that have like a lot of physical risk exposure to actually protect the overall bottom line of the companies that they serve in a better way and make their companies more resilient.
So I've seen some of the statistics that you mentioned, like companies are underinsured, but they're paying way too much. So can you talk about the typical inefficiencies and gaps that you see?
Yeah. So like on the first thing, like paying too much, like for being actually underinsured, like it's kind of like this two piece that we have to segregate and take apart. So the first piece is that companies actually cannot properly quantify their risk profile and show their proper risk controls that they already have in place to then get the right price actually for the insurance coverage. What happens today is that they compress all their risk profile into a submission document that then the underwriter of the insurance company has to kind of decipher and put a price on top of that. And what we see and what we saw in the market is that there is like a massive inefficiency then in the pricing happening, where like companies with better risk controls actually do not get better prices. And that's what we're fixing on that front. And then the underinsured part is actually where we see a lot of our companies that use the platform, where they have like a certain policy that should cover the risk. But then they find out at claims when actually something happens that there is a certain exclusion that then actually gives them a huge problem, like where they are underinsured and can actually not get like a full claim paid out.
I've heard you say that SciAI exposes the inefficiencies that your insurance broker is incentivized to ignore. So explain that a bit.
Yeah, sure. Happy to do so. So in general, the ecosystem is quite interesting right now. We have like a person, like an insured, like a company that needs to be insured, the broker, and then the insurance companies that actually insures and writes the risk. And the problem there is right now that the premium that you pay, like the broker gets a percentage of that. Like, so there's not really a true incentive to reduce the premium below what's actually needed to get this person or this company as your broker. So we really are decided like strategically to fully be like incentive aligned with the corporate itself and just providing the best in class B2B AI we can provide that actually allows them to make like informed decisions around the insurance and risk management without having like the not so well aligned incentives that we see right now in the insurance industry.
Okay. So thinking about other AI solutions like Claude, how does your solution compare to those?
So our solution is really like similar to Claude Code, for example, being focused on coding. We are an agentic harness for insurance and risk management workflows, meaning our whole AI system is really focused on providing the best value for these insurance and risk management related tasks, be it quantifying physical risk through natural catastrophe modeling or preparing a submission for your broker or for the underwriter. So there is like a huge gap then in between like the more, I would say, generalist AI models versus us being super bespoke and providing there already like the right expertise and the right training for insurance and risk management related workflows.
So with your purpose-built AI, I saw that you mentioned that it gains knowledge as it goes. Instead of just using AI to understand a document, it's actually understanding your complete risk profile. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, 100%. So what we saw, like what is a huge problem is these corporate insurance and risk managers working with dispersed spreadsheets, with emails, and actually the data be sitting in broker portals, etc. So very dispersed data. And what we do and what our AI does is contextualize and combines and brings all of these data sources together in one source of truth, which we call actually then the digital risk twin, where it
Mhm.
gives and has all the insurance and risk context that you want and need that then informs like all your workflows as an insurance risk and risk manager, but also all the workflows of any agent that you give it to.
Mhm. So the digital risk twin, does it run unlimited scenarios as to what could possibly go wrong? And so that it does it come up with those different scenarios to come up with what your risk profile is?
Yeah, exactly. It's already going, your thinking is going in the right direction. So on one hand side, it builds up the context, the source of truth, but then it runs constantly like different scenarios, assesses like actually, for example, the risk of a certain hurricane or fire or flood happening, right, to your location. And it all locations, and it constantly really contextualizes what is the risk from outside to your business, and actually works like a guardian angel, you could say, like to improve your insurance program, but also to advise you on which risk controls you should invest in.
Nice. So talking about time efficiency. So I saw some metrics where in seconds you can have your answer rather than weeks or, longer. So where's the biggest time efficiency that you're seeing with your application?
I would say like normally when you run like an insurance renewal, right? For example, you renew your property damage and business interruption policy. This is like a big work of 3 to 6 months of preparation. And where ScyAI comes in here, you have your source of truth, and you can actually create all of these artifacts, these exposés that you need, like submission files, like outlines of the risk, claims register, etc. You have that already stored in this compounding knowledge base. And now Sci just like creates the right documents on the spot for you to actually share them with the market and get like the best price. So really like we compress all of these free work that normally analysts and people would spend like 100% of their time over weeks. You can compress that in seconds and minutes and getting the right data and the right outputs already ready to be shared with the ecosystem.
I heard you talk about seven-figure annual savings, 30 times ROI, less than one cycle payback. So what are some of the metrics that you're seeing for clients?
Yeah, we see like the kind of free levers where they get like massive returns of their investment using us as their platform and as their AI. So the first one is obviously on the risk premium reductions, where we see like 30 to 40% on average, like that we can improve on that front. And then the second piece is on avoided coverage gaps, actually, where you then have a claim and potentially like have a gap in your policy. This proactively is also like identified and fixed in by Sci. And then the third piece, the third lever is really like helping your team to focus on a strategic work versus just like crunching the data constantly together, stitching things together, and just getting massive leverage on the time of your team. And I would say like this is one of the biggest levers together with the premium reduction through quantifying the risk profile and properly selling it into the market.
What about the less than one cycle payback?
Yeah, this is like really like where our solution shines, where we can just like directly show in the first year how beautifully that actually like was a great investment, right? And that on the one hand side, we can show that directly with the renewal, where we can compare like apples to apples through the past policy of last year with the new one this year, where we can then directly show the improvement, not only in the price, but also on the coverage. And on top of that, we can show like the speed up and quality increase of creating submission documents, actually interacting with the market, and just like having like this intelligence at your fingertips.
Well, who's an ideal prospect for you?
An ideal prospect is really like a company that is an industrial asset heavy company. So think manufacturing, energy, logistics, etc., where you have like quite a big property portfolio and asset heavy portfolio. So where property risk and property damage risk and business interruption is actually something that would really hurt your bottom line. And there we're looking to have companies on that have at least 1 to 3 million in annual spend on property damage and business interruption insurance.
And if people want to learn more and get in touch with you, what's the best way?
I would say, like on the one hand side, follow us on LinkedIn and check out our website and book a discovery call. I think this is also like the kind of 3 different levers that we can give here. And yeah, we're pushing out a lot of content on LinkedIn too. And there you can figure out more like if you're a proper fit for you guys.
Well, Bernhard, this has been really exciting learning about your company at ScyAI, and I look forward to watching the growth of the company and success.
Thank you so much for having me. It was amazing talking to you.